logo. This is the preamble before we start. So if you guys could start talking so we can see.
Sure. Well, good morning, everyone. You will soon be watching live from Sherwood Park, Alberta. We're broadcasting right now on YouTube from Millennium Place in Sherwood Park. A very emotional day. It's going to be a very sad day as friends, family, and law enforcement and first responders say goodbye to Constable Harvinder Dhami. He was killed in the line of duty assisting another member on a call. And that happened on Monday, unfortunately, April 10th. It was about 2 in the morning. And we just want to welcome everybody for watching the procession and today's proceedings that have been organized by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Canada today. We'll be getting underway very shortly at 10 o'clock, and we'll be joining, our cameras are out there live, and we'll be giving you a look at that. My name is Gord Steinke, and I'm joined here. You'll be hearing us behind the scenes by retired Staff Sergeant Major Ian Ferguson, who will be explaining what we can expect during this emotional ceremony and also describe the symbolism and the images. There is so much history that goes on behind something like this in the organization that you will soon be watching. And also very happy to have Sergeant Jack Poitras here, who will be giving his insight into it as well, but more importantly, the French translation side of things. So gentlemen, welcome very much, and we don't see any images coming up just yet, but Ian, I guess it's going to be, there's been a lot of planning gone into this as usual, and it's such a heartbreaking situation what happened with Constable Harvinder Dhami, and that's why we're here today.
Absolutely, and it's almost overwhelming because we're fresh off the funeral of the 2 Edmonton
Right.
police constables just a few weeks ago. And I hesitate to use the word funeral fatigue, but as things would have it, we have lots of expertise to help get this ceremony move forward seamlessly, we hope, and we have a lot of moving parts, as you can well imagine, Gord.
Exactly, and as you mentioned, I think we've seen, as you said, too many of these. You both are longtime veterans, and you've worked together before as well. How did you come to know each other?
Well, initially, I won't speak for Jack, but I joined the force in 1971. I served for 41 years, and part of my service entailed a 5-year stint at the training academy in Regina. And as luck would have it, Sergeant Poitras walked through the door when I was on duty, and I was the first instructor that he met, and the exchange was I won't say confrontational, but
well, it's nice to see you're both still getting along
yes,
after all these years,
yes,
and I think
indeed.
And I really appreciate the insight that we'll be getting here. And when it comes to French translation, Jack, just let me know when we should stop or when you want to take over. How does that work?
Oh, that's fine, and I can slide in here now and kind of give a bit of an introduction as to why we're here. And comme on disait en anglais, on est ici pour dire au revoir au gendarme Harvinder Dhami qui a été tué en répondant à une plainte le 10 avril vers les 2 heures du matin. Alors c'est une journée très sombre et malheureusement on s'est rencontrés pour lui dire au revoir. Et il y a beaucoup de planification qui vient avec un funérailles régimentaires. Alors, on va essayer de vous donner des descriptions de ce qui se passe pendant la journée et vous laisser savoir un peu de l'histoire historique de la GRC et des choses que vous allez voir pendant le funérailles. Merci.
Thank you very much, Jack. And I know that it's such a sad day here, but it's interesting when I walked in this morning to Millennium Place and you saw all of the officers and law enforcement from all across Canada coming in. I was talking to one of the officers from Quebec. You really get a sense. There was a lot of hugs going on here this morning. It's an emotional, it's a heartbreaking story, but at the same time, I anyway really got a sense of sort of the brotherhood and the sisterhood that's here. There are a lot of smiles too as people come together and see that. You guys have covered these, you've been at these events. Unfortunately, I assume way too many. One is too many. But can you tell us sort of the camaraderie that this is bringing together here before this procession starts.
Well, exactly to that point, Gord. I believe there's in excess of 20 troop mates of Constable Dhami. Normally, a troop in Regina features 32 individuals. Not everybody is successful upon graduating, but the bulk of those guys and gals that trained together 4 years ago, have come from across Canada to attend this ceremony.
Do you ever? Something like this is just so difficult to wrap your head around when you lose an officer in any capacity at all. But you've been at and involved with organizing other funerals in other districts. It never gets any easier.
No, it doesn't. And frankly, the number of attendees, whether it's family coming from around the world. I mean, we've got a significant contingent of people from the Punjab, and I really applaud them being able to attend.
All right. Well, we can cut in right now, and we're just going to take a look at the what's happening now. This is you're watching hundreds of law enforcement now from across Canada making their way from Bethel Church in Sherwood Park. They're heading north to where we are broadcasting from right now, to Millennium Place, where Constable Dhami's funeral, it's going to take place about an hour and a half from now, about 11:30. And as we're watching this, you can just see that there's a few members of the public have come out. It's a gray day, it's a cool day, but everybody wants to come out and just sort of pay their respects to a fallen officer who died tragically.
Do you want to speak to what I've just said?
We can't get audio from the drone.
Ian, this is a drone shot that we're seeing from the air here, and so we're not getting any sort of ambient sound, but at the same time, what we're seeing is just a sea of red right now. What's the significance of what we're looking at?
Well, obviously, because Constable Dhami was a member of the RCMP, they are going to be the lead organization here. You can see the pipe band from the Alberta RCMP, augmented by some of the other RCMP band members from across Canada. Then you have behind them you have the Guidon Party, those 4 individuals, and they're carrying the RCMP regimental colors, which is also known as a guidon, followed by the coach with the deceased, and the pallbearers, and then we'll have honorary pallbearers wearing blue and mourning attire behind them, and then you'll see the troops of RCMP members in red serge.
La question c'était de qu'est-ce qu'on voyait pendant le défilé qu'on voit de la caméra. Et puis, à cause que gendarme Harvinder Dhami était un membre de la Gendarmerie royale du Canada, vous voyez les tuniques rouges, la fanfare en avant. Après ça, vous avez le contingent des membres qui portent le guidon. Et vous allez voir beaucoup de tuniques rouges et d'autres uniformes à cause que des membres de forces policières autres que la GRC.
There's, you mentioned the guidon. Can you tell us the significance of that? It seems like more of a military sort of a symbol and an image.
It certainly is, Gordon. And during the funerals, it's customary for the RCMP to parade our regimental guidon. The guidon is based on the old traditions of the RCMP being a cavalry regiment. But in fact, when they first started the Northwest Mounted Police in 1873, the senior officers came from the ranks of the Canadian Artillery. However, obviously the whole mounted contingent would have us follow the cavalry traditions. The guidon would be carried into battle, for example, to rally troops and to use as a signaling device. And currently it bears adornments for battle honours of the regiment. It's different from standard flags because it bears a double pointed, they call it a swallowtail style, as opposed to a single point.
OK, on parlait du guidon et de sa significance. Le terme guidon dérive de l'ancien français guidum, qui désignait le drapeau porté par un chef de la cavalerie. Les drapeaux régimentaires de l'infanterie sont appelés les couleurs. La GRC respecte les traditions des cavaleries légères, dont le drapeau est appelé guidon. Et le guidon représente les couleurs régimentaires de la GRC. Et on le porte pendant les funérailles et plusieurs d'autres lors d'un défilé, le jour de l'anniversaire du roi ou de la reine, aux obsèques d'un dignitaire ayant droit à une garde d'honneur de 100 membres, lors d'une cérémonie de passation de commandement, nouveau commissaire, lors d'une inspection par le commissaire, lors d'un défilé et services religieux en l'honneur de membres tués dans l'exercice de leurs fonctions ou lors d'une diverses prises d'armes.
Well, if you're just tuning in here, we're broadcasting live from Millennium Place in Sherwood Park. A very emotional day here for the Constable Harvinder Dhami's funeral, who died in the line of duty. Very powerful images here. We're on the ground now, and let's just listen in here as the troops and as the officers, rather, make their way towards Millennium Place. I believe they've just turned onto Lakeland Drive now. They're heading northwest up to Millennium Place.
Et on voit le défilé qui se déroule, qui s'en viennent ici en ce moment.
Fourth shot coming up.
And you'll notice as well that the guidon is being carried by a senior sergeant major from the RCMP, and in this case it's Sergeant Major Mike McGinley, who was the senior NCO at the RCMP Training Academy in Regina.
I noticed too, we can see, our viewers can see as well, I just caught a glimpse of a riderless horse. What is the significance of that? It seems it's following the casket a few meters behind.
The term in the past is erroneously referred to as a charger, but for the purposes of a regimental funeral, this animal is referred to as a caparisoned horse. And that indicates that the rider, and you'll see his boots are in the stirrups backwards, which indicates that he's no longer capable of serving, no longer capable of riding in the battle, and in essence, the boots being backwards, in theory, allows the spirit to have one last look at his regiment.
Alors, on parlait du cheval sans chevalier qui fait partie de la procession. Vous voyez qu'il y a une paire de bottes qui pointent vers le derrière du cheval. Et c'est pour signifier la dernière chance de voir l'esprit du cavalier.
It's interesting. I just caught a glimpse of the chaplain in the head of the procession as well.
That's correct.
Marching.
That's you're indeed correct. That's retired Chaplain Bob Harper, who served many years as the RCMP in Alberta's chaplain.
Quite powerful images here, and with your experience in such similar situations, what's going through the officers, the men and women's head here who are following behind?
Well, I can't speak to everybody, certainly, Gordon, but everybody here is there to support the family, full stop. And the people from away from Sherwood Park and Strathcona County Detachment, they're there to support their fellow officers.
And it's interesting, there must be hundreds have come in from all over Canada. Law enforcement, first responders. We saw just a few minutes ago, they passed Fire Hall number 6. Flags at half staff. They went by the Sherwood Park Police Station there as well. And it's just such an outpouring of support, not just from the Sherwood Park and Strathcona County community. It's an outpouring in Alberta, but it's from this touches the hearts and souls of everybody right across the country.
Oh, absolutely, and this is no exception. Of course, I hearken back to 2005 to the Mayerthorpe incident, and there were any number of law enforcement personnel from the United States and from overseas as well. We've got, just to touch briefly on some of the external partners that are with us. We've got Edmonton Police, Peel Regional Police, and Constable Dhami's brother is a serving member of the Regional Police as well in Peel. Winnipeg, Saanich, Camrose, the Sûreté de Québec, the Service de Police de Montreal, York Regional, Abbotsford. I mean, the list goes on. And not to say that the contributions from Environment Canada, Medicine Hat, Fish and Wildlife, basically all first responders. Of course, your EMS personnel, fire services as well are in attendance, and we greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely. And would you like to respond to that in French?
Yes, on parlait de l'esprit des membres qui sont en parade présentement, et on ne peut pas parler de tous les membres, mais définitivement, c'est une chance de supporter le membre perdu et sa famille. Alors, les membres sont là en fierté et pour l'honneur du membre et de la famille du membre décédé. On a des policiers de presque tout partout du Canada, de Montréal, de Peel Regional. On a le frère du membre gendarme Harvinder Dhami. Il travaille à Peel, police régionale, et est présent aujourd'hui. Ça fait que ça donne une chance pour les différentes forces policières de montrer la fraternité des corps de police à travers du pays.
Let's just listen in now. These are very powerful images. We see the red and the blue surge. Let's listen in here. And if you're just tuning in, we're broadcasting live here in Sherwood Park. These are law enforcement supporting Constable Harvinder Dhami this morning on a gray day here in Sherwood Park, an emotional day, and they're making their way to Millennium Place for the funeral of Constable Dhami, which will be taking place about 11:30. Ian, one thing that's really striking here, I know we touched on this before, but it's just such powerful images here. We're seeing the red surge. Everyone's dressed in their finest here today, and also a lot of blue. Can you just sort of break down what's the significance again of those uniforms?
Well, as it turns out, I believe it's 6 of the members of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police that trained with Constable Dhami have since left the RCMP for service in other departments. And the RCMP are the only ones that wear the traditional red scarlet tunics. And so the other people in blue are serving members of other police agencies or even law enforcement agencies. I understand that Constable Dhami has a cousin who is in the Canadian Border Services.
This is very, it's a powerful thing to watch here and stuff. And we've seen this, as you said earlier, far too much. But one of the the interesting things that sort of permeates these ceremonies is the music, and the music that we're hearing here, and that's a big part of these ceremonies.
It is. There's a lot of traditional tunes. You may have just heard Green Hills, a very, very old traditional regimental tune, and it's always played backed up with another tune called Battle's Over, which is, in this case, quite significant.
And we can hear the music there that Ian was just referring to just a few moments ago. They're getting very close now to Millennium Place, where we are situated here. There's 2,100 seats that will soon be filling up here for the funeral of Constable Dhami, as these officers make their way, and the men and women of law enforcement and first responders make their way here through Sherwood Park to Millennium Place.
As you can imagine, the bulk of Strathcona County detachment members have turned out to honor their fallen comrade, and EPS has graciously picked up the slack with some of their bike patrol officers, and we've brought in officers from other detachments in Alberta to do the day-to-day request for service by police today.
You can see here as the procession is moving towards Millennium Place now, the hearse, or as it's called, I guess, the coach, which is flanked by the bearer party, and it's interesting that one of those honorary pallbearers is Constable Dhami's brother, who came in from Ontario, and law enforcement runs in the family.
That's correct. As I said, that he has a brother who I believe also is a serving member of Vancouver City Police, and as I said before, a cousin who's in Canadian Border Services.
Yeah, and I believe Govinder is with Peel Regional Police, correct?
Yes.
So he will be here.
And he'll be speaking at the ceremony.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of family coming in from Ontario, which I guess is where Constable Dhami's birthplace was.
That's correct.
So there's a lot of people in from out of town here for this occasion. And this affects so many areas of law enforcement. I think we just saw, or I think I just saw some Alberta sheriffs marching as well.
That's correct. And they were in the same group that was headed up by the members of the military police from the Canadian Armed Forces in the Red Berets.
can see members of the public have come out here to pay their respects as well, lining the parade route. And flags throughout Alberta today are at half-mast at fire halls and police stations right across the province. There you can see first responders, Edmonton Fire Rescue out with the Canadian flag. As the procession makes its way to Millennium Place, which is just in north part of Sherwood Park today. And Ian, these are processions. It's just the riderless horse and all the finery that the men and women are wearing here, the bagpipes, the music, the symbolism, the imagery. It's just, I know it's tradition, but it never fails to kind of get to you, you know, with the power and the emotion that's coming out of a ceremony in a day like today.
Absolutely. I'll draw your attention to the horse. It's not a horse that's used to probably bagpipes and things like that, and it's a little bit unnerving, I think. But yeah. I'd like to.
He's got a good grip on it, doesn't he?
He does, and I'd like to do a shout out to the young lady that from Strathcona County that let us use that animal for this purpose. And I apologize. I can't remember her name.
Well, it's very nice, and yes, he's managing to keep it under control, and it must be a completely new experience.
Yeah.
On portait attention au cheval tantôt qui semble un peu nerveux, qui n'est pas accoutumé au bruit du cornemuse, mais on voulait remercier le membre qui nous a laissé servir du cheval pour la parade aujourd'hui. Même s'il n'est pas accoutumé au bruit qui est présent alentour de lui.
You know, I find it interesting that we've been talking about tradition and the symbolism that goes along with such a procession and with the funeral for a fallen officer who's been killed in the line of duty. But at the same time, there's some wiggle room here in the ceremony. He was a Sikh, so they're able to incorporate all kinds of different elements that will honor him and his service.
That's correct. Once we get inside Millennium Place and the actual ceremony of the funeral commences, you'll notice things are done a little bit differently. Normally, the members of the agencies will keep their headdress on, whatever form of hat they're wearing. And then take them off for reveille and last post. But things are done in the reverse order here, in keeping with the spirituality of the Sikh faith and honoring the wishes of the family. The headdress will be removed through the entire ceremony, and then it'll be replaced at the commencement of last post and the lament by the piper, and then the reveille as well.
And we're continuing here to watch some very touching images here as the procession continues to march closer and closer to Millennium Place here. They left Bethel Church at about 10 o'clock, Lutheran Church in the center of Sherwood Park, and are making their way to Millennium Place. And more and more people are coming out here. Roads have been blocked off for the duration of this ceremony, and people are coming out on foot here, and it's not a bad day, actually. It looks like the skies are trying to clear a little bit.
Well, it's a somber day in keeping with the significance of the ceremony.
On parlais de la procession qui s'en vient à Place Millennium, ici à Sherwood Park. On voit encore des membres du public qui payent les respects sur les trottoirs. Les routes ont été fermées pour la procession aujourd'hui. Et on parlait aussi de garder l'honneur de la région sec. Et on a changé un peu le courant d'événements pour les portes de chapeau à l'intérieur ont été changées un peu pour respecter la religion du gendarme Harvinder Dhami.
Let's listen in once again here. There's hundreds of what you're watching, hundreds of law enforcement from across the country paying their respects, along with they'll be joining many family and friends of Constable Dhami in just a few minutes here as they arrive at Millennial Place.
This is Edmonton Police Service in the foreground with their pipe band.
Dressed in their blue, their finest.
That's correct.
Alors, on voit la force de police d'Edmonton.
And the pipe band coming in behind the Edmonton Police contingent, I believe, is from the Alberta Sheriffs.
And as you said earlier, Ian, we've seen too many of these images. One is too many in the past while, but this has been organized rather, quickly. And to organize something like this on this scale, and then to see this, is just so. For the family, it must be a lovely tribute in the midst of such heartbreaking loss.
It is, and regrettably, Gord, and unfortunately, that we've almost developed a template. And it's just, we're not reinventing the wheel here. It's, we put the word out to the agencies. They respond who's going to be able to attend, who's going to be able to assist within, like the warrant officers, for example, have lots of extra duties to get things in place and get them the organization.
And to get those invites out and on such a tight schedule, it's an amazing, it's a wonderful tribute and a wonderful turnout here for Constable Dhami.
Correct.
On parlait du nombre de membres de policiers qui sont venus d'autres forces et de travaux qui se mettent pour former ces défilés pour les services funérailles des gendarmes, et on n'a pas beaucoup de temps à mettre ça en place. Alors il y a beaucoup de travail qui se met là-dedans pour toutes les forces policières pour se rendre ici et participer pour montrer leur respect pour la famille et le membre qu'on a perdu.
And the reason that these groups are halted right here is, as you can imagine, Millennium Place was not necessarily designed to feed the great numbers of people that are arriving here. So it's going to be a bit of a process to get everybody inside the building for the ceremony.
And I understand that the casket that's carrying Constable Dhami's body will be taken around the left side of the building, and it will allow time for people just to get organized inside.
Yes.
Take place for the funeral, which will be taking place in about an hour from now. But it looks like they've arrived here at Millennium Place, and they will be slowly moving in. As I said, it was like 2,100 seats inside this building, so it's a massive audience that will be there as they wait to hear eulogies, and the family member will be arriving inside and seated for a very emotional ceremony and a celebration of life for Constable Harvinder Dhami, also known as Harvey.
That is correct. In the background, you could see the white coach from the funeral home. and the bearer party will be removing the casket and taking it inside, and it's done in a very specific and formal fashion. I've been the bearer party commander, unfortunately, too many times in the past, and there's upwards of 150 commands to the bearer party to have this the removal and then replacement of the casket throughout the ceremony.
Does the family receive? Will they be receiving the flag and
Yes,
some
they'll.
of his personal items?
Yes, I believe his wife will receive the flag, and his mother will receive his Stetson.
I know. I saw. You can see when the camera zooms in, you get a close up. You can tell these officers they're all dressed in their finest. This is their.
That's correct.
The dress uniform. So their medals are on display, but there's also a medal honoring. A medal of mourning, I guess it is. Is that just for officers, or can the public get one of those?
Oh, the public are entitled to wear. We certainly encourage that, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just another display of support from the public. It's a little generic police badge with a black and blue ribbon, and Sergeant Poitras is displaying that on his red surge as we speak.
Right. I think there's many members of the public would be curious as how to get their hands on one and pay their respects in their own way.
I believe they're available online, but certainly if they contacted their local police agency, they would be able to acquire one if they're so inclined. And I would, like I say, I would certainly encourage it.
I would too.
On parlait de la parade qui a été arrêtée avant qu'il puisse rentrer dans l'édifice ici aujourd'hui. À cause du nombre de membres qui arrivent, ça prend un peu de temps pour laisser entrer le monde par les portes doubles qu'il y a ici en avant de l'édifice. Alors, ça va prendre plusieurs minutes à venir à bout de rentrer tout le monde dans le centre d'accueil ici.
This looks like members of the military coming up, perhaps, or
Certainly the gentleman in the red beret, and as you can see,
Yeah.
the ones at the front of that contingent, they are military police officers. And there's Corrections Canada is involved.
and again, people are from right across the country are here.
That's correct.
On parlait des membres qui portent les berets rouges, qui font partie de notre formation militaire.
And you just can't imagine what's going through the emotions for Constable Dhami's family, his wife. They've been together for many, many years. No kids. 32 years old he was, and he'll have lots of family members coming in from, I believe it's Brampton, Ontario.
I believe you're right.
Très émotionnel pour la famille ici qui voit la parade défiler ici. Et très triste pour eux autres aujourd'hui. Mais certainement avec fierté de nombre de policiers qui sont montrés ici aujourd'hui et d'autres agents militaires et des membres du public, certains qui ont envoyé des respects pour leur perte.
And the last of the procession now making its way into the south side parking lot here at Millennium Place, and they will be entering and getting seated for the funeral, which takes place just about an hour from now. Inside, 2,100 people will be seated in there, and there will be the usual eulogies and tribute to life and celebration of life, and also pictures. And also, I understand, I was told that some of Constable Dhami's favorite music will be played as well. So,
I'm not aware of that, but I would absolutely suggest you're correct, Gordon.
yeah, that's what I've heard, and I think that's going to be very touching and for the family as well.
The list is far too long to acknowledge all the people that have helped to assist and coordinate this ceremony today, but I would like to graciously acknowledge the parade commander, who is Sergeant Major Leilani Collins, who was the senior warrant officer for the Alberta RCMP.
Je voulais remercier le sergent-major Leilani Collins d'ici Edmonton pour être en charge de défilé aujourd'hui.
Well, just a reminder, we are broadcasting live now from Millennium Place. This is in Sherwood Park. The procession has arrived here outside this wonderful building in Strathcona County, and they will be taking their seats and getting organized for the ceremony, which will be coming up. This is a very emotional day. It's a tribute, a sad day for the funeral for Constable Harvinder Dhami. He died in the line of duty April 10th. He was assisting another member on a call, and it's always such a heartbreaking loss at 32 years old for anyone when they lose their life in the line of duty and in a workplace.
Je vais juste corriger le titre du sergent-major d'état-major, Leilani Collins. Et vous pouvez constater que c'est très triste ici pour les membres qui font partie du défilé et qui attendent leur chance d'entrer dans l'édifice ici aujourd'hui.
And Ian, I know the RCMP, they've got a long-serving organization. You touched on this, steeped in tradition, but today it's all about Constable Harvinder Dhami, and it's about his faith as well. And it just shows just the inclusivity, how inclusive the RCMP is with their membership across the country.
That's correct, Gordon.
On parlait des traditions de la GRC et comment diverses qu'on est pour célébrer les différentes religions. Et c'est ça qu'on va voir aujourd'hui pour gendarme Harvinder Dhami.
Let's listen in now as they take their place here. Well, here's our first inside shot of Millennium Place right now. As I said earlier, 2,100 people will be taking their seats. Law enforcement, first responders, and there you can see the family members who are waiting for everyone to get organized and to come in. It's all about honoring the service and the ultimate sacrifice that Constable Harvinder Dhami has paid. And this will be a celebration and a tribute to his life as well, but just such touching moments and heartfelt moments for the family right now.
On voit maintenant la première image dedans de l'édifice du centre d'accueil. Et vous pouvez voir la famille en avant à gauche et les membres qui se filent à leur siège pour la présentation qui va commencer.
And this is a shot here, and again, the symbols and the imagery, his high-top boots, his Sam Brown revolver and belt, and some of his personal effects with the RCMP, just to honor his memory. Quite a haunting image there.
Et on peut voir les batteries, la ceinture du membre décédé pour honorer sa position avec la gendarmerie royale.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You may be seated. You have until 11 o'clock if you need to use the facilities over here, but please return to your seats and be seated by 11 a.m. Thank you.
The audience just receiving their instructions there just before the ceremony starts. We're going to leave you right now as we're broadcasting live from Millennium Place in Sherwood Park. This is for the funeral for Constable Harvinder Dhami. We're at Millennium Place, as I said. Everyone has taken their seats now, and we'll just wait a little bit until the ceremony starts. It looks like they're going to get things underway about 11 o'clock. And Ian, we just saw a very touching moment with Constable Dhami's boots and service revolver and some of his other effects that are on the stage, and that's such a powerful image.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'll correct one little item though. It's not his revolver. That would be his Sam Brown.
Sam Brown.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's okay.
Well, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back. And here's some pictures, family pictures. We're going to watch along with the audience. This is very the celebration. Give you a really good idea of who Harvinder was. He was really a big supporter of Meals on Wheels for seniors in all communities, for the Sikh community as well, but all communities. And I think his family was asking for donations to go to that.
That is correct.
Well, if you're just tuning in, we're broadcasting live from Millennium Place in Sherwood Park. A very emotional day. This is for the funeral for Constable Harvinder Dhami, who died in the line of duty on April 10th. Law enforcement from across the country are here, and family and friends. Let's listen in now.
Christian Narbonne, et je serai ici aujourd'hui votre maître de cérémonie pour la journée. As we are about to begin, please turn off your cell phone and remove your headdress once you've been seated. Alors qu'on va commencer, veuillez éteindre vos téléphones cellulaires une fois assis et enlever vos couvre-chefs, sauf indiqué. Par respect pour la nature solennelle de ces procédures, veuillez vous abstenir d'enregistrer ou de prendre des photos pendant le service, à moins que vous soyez un photographe ou un média désigné. Out of respect for the solemn nature of these proceedings, please refrain from recording or taking pictures during the service unless you are a designated photographer or media. I would like to acknowledge that we are gathering on Treaty 6 territory, and in the spirit of reconciliation, I offer my recognition and respect for those who made the first footprints on this land. Je tiens à souligner que nous sommes réunis au territoire du traité numéro 6. Et dans l'esprit de réconciliation, j'offre ma reconnaissance et mon respect à ceux qui ont fait les premiers pas sur cette terre. The service will begin with the marching on of the guidon. The guidon is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police consecrated regimental color. It bears the theater honors awarded to the Northwest Mounted Police, the Royal Northwest Mounted Police, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for service alongside the military in time of armed conflict. It is customary for the guidon to be carried on the occasion of a regimental funeral and draped on an altar of drums. Le service débutera par la marche représentant le guidon. Le guidon est le drapeau régimentaire consacré de la Gendarmerie royale du Canada. Il porte les décorations d'opération décernées de la Police à cheval du Nord-Ouest, la Gendarmerie royale à cheval du Nord-Ouest et la Gendarmerie royale du Canada. Pour le service aux côtés des militaires en temps de conflit armé, la coutume veut que le guidon soit porté à l'occasion de funérailles régimentaires et drapé sur un autel de tambour. At this time, please stand for the marching of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police guidon, followed by the procession and Constable Dhami's family. Levez-vous pour la marche du guidon, la procession et la famille du gendarme Dhami. Please remain standing. We will begin this ceremony with the singing of our national anthem. A reminder for those in uniform, saluting is not required. Veuillez commencer. Nous allons commencer cette cérémonie par le chant de notre hymne national. Veuillez rester debout. Nous vous rappelons que vous êtes priés de ne pas porter votre coiffe. Pour ceux qui portent l'uniforme, le salut n'est pas nécessaire. Je voudrais inviter le gendarme Sterling John, membre actif de la GRC de l'Alberta, à chanter notre hymne national. I now would like to invite Constable Sterling John, who is a serving member with the Alberta RCMP, to sing our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native lands, true patriot love in all of us commands. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our lands glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please be seated. S'il vous plaît, asseyez-vous. Thank you for joining us here today to honor our fallen comrade, Constable Harvinder Dhami of Strathcona Detachment, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. We remember Constable Dhami's service to upholding the safety of this community and the ultimate sacrifice he made in the line of duty. The outpouring of support over the past weeks has been truly appreciated. The many condolences, words of comfort, and act of kindness have been an inspiring tribute to the memory of Constable Dhami and an encouragement for all our members. Thank you. Merci de vous rejoindre à nous. Nous sommes ici aujourd'hui pour rendre hommage à notre camarade décédé, le gendarme Harvinder Dhami, du détachement du comté de Strathcona de la Gendarmerie royale du Canada. Ensemble, nous nous souvenons des services rendus par le gendarme Dhami pour sa contribution à la sécurité de sa communauté et le sacrifice ultime qu'il a consenti dans l'exercice de ses fonctions. L'afflux de soutien au cours des dernières semaines a été vraiment apprécié. Les nombreuses condoléances, les mots de réconfort et les actes de gentillesse ont été un hommage inspirant à la mémoire du gendarme Dhami et un encouragement pour tous nos membres. Merci. J'invite maintenant l'aumônier du détachement du comté de Strathcona, Shay Anderson, à prononcer une prière d'ouverture. I will now invite Strathcona County Detachment Chaplain, Shay Anderson, to offer the opening prayer.
Before I pray, I want to take this opportunity to offer my most heartfelt condolences to the Dhami family. I personally knew Harvinder. I considered him a friend and a great guy. I found him incredibly easy to talk to, an open book. We recently went on a ride along for about 2 hours a few weeks ago, and he had such a humble attitude. He loved you so much. Ravinder, he loved you so much. And he is very missed already, and his memory will be cherished by everyone. I would like to take this time to invite everyone to join with me in prayer. As in all the prayers today that will be offered during this service, please pray in whatever way your faith tradition celebrates prayer and that you are accustomed to. Also, those who for whatever reason are not disposed to pray, please use this time for a silent reflection or contemplation as others pray. Let us pray. Our Father who art in heaven, we revere your holy name. We worship you, Lord, because righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Love and faithfulness go before you. You are the God who sees us and who counts our tears. But you are also the God of all comfort, who comforts us in our troubles. Lord, I ask that you would comfort the Dhami family. Let your face shine upon them and give them peace. Surround them with your spirit and with the loving support of family and friends, and to help them carry the burden of their loss. Lord, I would ask that you would comfort the members of Watch 1 and all those who knew Harvinder, whether it be professionally or personally. May your spirit counsel them, Lord, as they process their grief and mourn the loss of their friend. And Lord, I ask that you would give them what they need. Lord, that you would give them courage. Lord, that you would give them strength, and that you would give them perseverance as they journey through this trying time. Let your perfect will be done in their lives. And Lord, I pray for the RCMP and all of those in the policing community. Affirm to them in their call. Remind them of their value and their importance in this country. They are your servants divinely called to protect and to serve their communities. Lord, I pray that they would be supported and honored for their sacrifice. I pray that you would equip them for the job ahead and protect them in body, spirit, and soul. And finally, I pray for all of the families of our first responders who also share in that sacrifice. Give them grace. And I pray all this in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Merci. You may have noticed, as you entered the venue today, a number of personal pictures shared by the Dhami family, as well as a musical selection of lo-fi beats, Harvinder's favorite. Personalized tribute like these will be shared throughout the funeral proceedings, in memory of Constable Dhami, including eulogies shared by close family and friends. Vous avez peut-être remarqué en entrant dans la salle aujourd'hui un certain nombre de photos personnelles partagées par la famille Dhami, ainsi qu'une sélection musicale de lo-fi beats, les préférés d'Harvinder. Des hommages personnalisés, comme ceux-ci, seront partagés tout au long des funérailles, en mémoire du gendarme Dhami, y compris des éloges funèbres prononcés par ses membres de la famille et les amis proches. Je voudrais tout d'abord inviter le gendarme Henry Galvez Rodriguez, membre actif de la GRC de l'Alberta, collègue et ami du gendarme Dhami, à prendre la parole. I would first like to invite Constable Henry Galvez Rodriguez, a serving member of the Alberta RCMP, as well as a colleague and friend of Constable Dhami, to speak.
Hello, everyone. Before I start with my speech, I just want to say thank you for being here. Your attendance would have meant a lot to him. Just in case, my name is Henry Galvez, and I had the fortune to meet Harvey in depot. But to me, he was always Dhami, no matter how hard I tried. Dhami and I were in the same troop, and throughout our training, we became great friends. Once graduated, we both were posted to K Division, and our friendship truly flourished after that. There's nobody that I trusted more than Dhami. To those of you who had the opportunity to meet Dhami, this will come to no surprise, but Dhami was the most selfless person I have ever met. I never worked in the same detachment as Dhami, but I was fortunate enough to have worked a few times with him side by side. This was not by luck. Dhami took it upon himself to come do some overtime with me so he could have my back if ever needed, and so he did. He was the first person on the radio and the first one to run if you needed help. Dhami was a hero by every definition there is. He just had that commitment to help wherever he could and felt compelled to be there if you ever needed, or even if you did not, just to make sure you were not alone. There was no angle with him. Dhami just helped because that's who he was. Dhami took pride in his relationship with others. There was no dull moment with him around. He always made you laugh and made you feel that everything would be fine no matter what was going on. Dhami was just a kind soul that put everyone before himself and who would attempt all the time to make your day better. Dhami was just not there when you needed him the most, but he took great effort to be there during the good times too. I believe that most of us go through life trying to find the best way to live it, but honestly I believe my brother Dhami really did. I can be talking about my best friend forever, but unfortunately there is just not enough time to express how great Dhami was. I will never truly say goodbye to my friend, just until soon. First, this is my brother. We'll take it from here. We love you, Dhami. Thank you.
Thank you, Constable Rodriguez. Merci. Next, we will hear from Armin Shager, a beloved friend of Harvinder. Nous entendrons ensuite de Armin Shager, un bien-aimé de Harvinder.
Hello everyone, my name is Armin Jagger. For those of you who don't know me, I had the honor and privilege of knowing Harv for the majority of my life. He is and always will be my best friend and brother. Harv and I met in high school. We went through our teenager, young adult, and adult life together. I'm so proud of the man he has become and the beautiful life that he and Rav have built here together. Growing up, his house always welcomed me with open arms. I mean that literally. The door at his house was always open. I don't even know if the lock worked. They didn't bother locking it because people, family, and friends were constantly coming in and out. I quickly knew I had another set of family where I inherited 2 brothers, a sister, a mother, a father, grandparents, and soon thereafter, Rav. These people looked after me just as if I was their own, and they did. Without Harv, I would not have known of these beautiful people who have been in my life for close to 2 decades, and I'll be eternally grateful. Harv and I went through all the motions. We shared the laughs, we held each other during the cries, and we fought to keep each other in check when we needed to. It helped our brotherhood grow into the people we are today. And on behalf of all of our friends, I can confidently say, we would not be the people that we are today without you, Harv. Aside from his sense of humor, the thing I adored most about Harv was his work ethic. It didn't just stop at his career. It expanded to him constantly working on himself, whether it be through fitness, volunteer work, the relationship with his family and friends, or to his compassion when he once upon a time gave me his last $3 to ensure I got home safely. He was an exceptional man. I am proud to see the support that has come together during this tragic time. It shows me that he passed the same values and had the same impact on many of those who are here today, and for many of those who are watching from home. On behalf of Harv, I thank you. I know what Harv would whisper to me during this time. He'd tell me that I need to be strong. I need to continue to push towards my goals and get after it. And I know he'd trust me to take care of things here until we meet again. As a community here to honor Harv, I'd ask that you remember the good times and the lessons you learned from my beloved friend. Let's honor his sacrifice by being the best version of ourselves, just like he would want us to. And that way, Harv will live on. He will live on through each and every one of us and through the positive actions we take to make him proud every day. I would like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to me and for the opportunity to honor my brother. I'd like to thank the RCMP and fellow organizations for their unconditional and continued support through this difficult time. May God bless his soul. Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Thank you, Amen, for these amazing words. Merci beaucoup, Amen, pour ces mots. J'invite le frère gendarme de gendarme Dhami, le gendarme Harvinder Dhami, membre actif de la police régionale de Peel, à rendre hommage au nom de la famille. I would like to invite Constable Dhami's brother, Constable Harvinder Dhami, a serving member of the Peel Regional Police, to offer a tribute on behalf of the family. Harvinder.
We are all here today to honor Constable Harvinder Dhami, a police officer who led his life with integrity and selflessness, who to the final moments of his life upheld his oath to protect and to serve. I would like to say to every single person in this room here today, and to those joining us virtually, that my family and I appreciate you and your support. We thank you for being here with us to honor the life and contributions of Constable Harvinder Dhami. I would like to acknowledge the efforts of Jeff Macbeth, John Spans, and every member of the RCMP that has been working diligently behind the scenes to support myself and my family during this most difficult time. My sincerest gratitude and thanks to his troopmates, his detachment, and his friends in the police family for being there for us in our time of need. And to Harvey's watch, thank you for keeping watch and taking care of our brother until the very last moments of his life. My name is Harvinder Dhami, and it is with the utmost pride that I can say Constable Harvinder Dhami was my younger brother. The last time I stood in front of a large group of people to speak about Harv was when I delivered my best man speech at his wedding. And now, I stand here today in front of all of you to deliver his eulogy and to pay tribute to his life. My brother was a remarkable human being, a loyal and devoted husband, son, brother, uncle, and friend. He was the very essence of what it is to be a good, kind, and compassionate person. Growing up as kids, we used to spend hours playing together, whether it was sports, video games, or just goofing around. He had a contagious smile, great sense of humor that would always brighten up my day. As we grew older, our bond only grew stronger. We shared countless memories. We always had each other's backs. People would often comment that they never saw my brother and I argue or even disagree on anything. And that's because we shared a special bond of mutual trust. I want to share a story about my brother from when we were younger, as I feel it captures who he really was. When I was about 10 years old and Harv was about 7, I was practicing my hockey skills, and Harv was cheering me on from the sidelines like younger brothers usually do. At one point, while I was winding up for a slap shot, Harv decided it would be a great idea to stand directly behind me. My hockey stick made contact with his mouth, and he began to cry. My mom, hearing the commotion, came outside and noticed Harv was missing his front tooth. Her first reaction was, "Oh my God, nobody's gonna marry him now." And her second reaction was anger. She began to yell at us both. She said she was gonna call the police on me and that they were gonna take me to jail. I remember this very moment to this day, because at that moment, Harv stopped crying. He told our mom that he was perfectly fine and petitioned for her not to call the police on me. Even though he was in pain and missing a tooth, he was more concerned about my well-being. That's the type of man Harv was. He always put others before himself. He was selfless in nature. Regardless of what was happening in his own life, we all know he would drop everything if we ever called upon him for help. His passion for helping others is what led him to become a police officer, and it is what made him such a beloved member of his community. My brother was an inspiration to many people, including myself. He was a man of integrity who always stood up for what he believed in, even if it meant going against the tide. He was a man of action who never shied away from a challenge, no matter how daunting it may have seemed. And he was a man of compassion, who showed kindness and empathy to all of those around him, no matter their station in life. We will always remember my brother for his infectious smile, his infectious laugh, and his infectious spirit. He had a gift for making people feel seen, heard, and valued. He had a way of bringing people together and forging lasting friendships. My brother may have lived a short life, but he lived a large life. He left a lasting mark on this world, and his legacy will continue to inspire us all to be better, kinder, and more selfless individuals. Best man, an honor he gave me, but truly what he himself was, and how he will always be remembered. Rest in peace, Harv. Your service and sacrifice will never be forgotten. I would like to call upon my mom, Cst Dhami, to come up here and say a few words about Harv.
Hello, everyone. Harvinder's my son. I love you. I miss you. And I'm proud of you. You will always be in our heart. Always. Always we love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gurvinder. Thank you, chez nous. Merci. Enfin, j'aimerais inviter Ravinter Dhami Randhawa, l'épouse de Harvinder, à partager avec nous son hommage. Lastly, I would like to invite Ravinder Dhami Randhawa, wife of Harvinder, to share with us her tribute.
Thank you to every single person here today. Your presence means everything to me, Harv, and our family. Through the pain, we have felt so much love. Our journey started 12 years ago, so young and naive, not knowing what the future would hold. The person we all knew of Harv today was no different from when I first met him. The same determination, confidence, and humor. Looking back to the time when he confessed his love for me to his mom and my friends, and confidently telling them he would marry me one day, all before he even said a single word. Clearly, he knew what he was doing, even though his game did not look so promising up close. From that day forward, there has not been a day that has gone by where he didn't show me the love and care he had for me in ways I can never express. A simple act of making our bed every morning or learning how to make chai exactly the way I like it. All will just be a memory for me to hold on to. Every part of my life, my home, my past, my present, and my future was intertwined with Harv. And today, I stand here empty and broken in ways I cannot put together. He would come home from work every day and not miss a day, where he held me and reminded me how much he loved me. The morning of April 10th was no different. Expecting to be woken up by his warm hugs and kisses. Instead, I woke up abruptly to the knocks at the front door. A sound that will forever haunt me. I heard the saying of living your worst nightmare, and now I am just living that. He was the reason I felt safe, not because he was an officer, because that's who Harv was. He made sure to make me feel protected since the day I met him. Always making sure I'm never walking alongside the traffic were just some small gestures he did. I don't feel safe anymore. There are dozens of people here today, yet I feel alone, helpless, and scared. He was my person, the most generous, giving, and optimistic person. He was one of a kind, because even today, he would want me to talk about you, the people who so enriched his life, and give him the opportunity to spread his love and friendship. We had only moved to Edmonton just over 3 years back, and all the family and friends we have today is all proof of who Harv was. He had the charm of lighting up the mood, irrespective of where he was, all of which has come to an end too soon. Harv still had so much to give with his level of dedication to himself and to the force. He was always striving to grow and never shied away from hard work. Being selected for a challenging and aggressive program like EMER were just stepping stones to the great impact he could have and would have left behind. There was not a moment of doubt he carried when it came to his loyalty and commitment to his team. He bled blue from the day I met him. If I could ask Harv if there was anything he would have done differently, I know he would do it all over again. He was always there to serve people in every way and did so until his last breath. Harv, you will always be the love of my life, my best friend, soulmate, and everything more. Not a day will go by that I won't think of you. Thank you for showing me what it means to be loved, cared for, and valued in my life. There is absolutely no one that could have remotely made me feel what you have. Some people go an entire lifetime and don't experience love like this. These short 12 years of your love is enough for me to get by this lifetime. It was an absolute honor being your wife. I love you, Mary John. Until we meet again.
Thank you, Ravinder, and all of you who spoke today. Your words are touching and a fitting tribute to Harvinder. Merci, Ravinder, et à tous ceux qui ont parlé aujourd'hui. Vos mots sont très touchants et constituent un hommage approprié pour Harvinder. J'aimerais maintenant souhaiter la bienvenue à l'aumônier de la GRC de l'Alberta, George Madden, qui prononcera l'homélie. I would now like to welcome Alberta RCMP Chaplain George Madden to provide the homily.
Good afternoon. Again, my deepest heartfelt condolences to Ravinder, to the entire family of Constable Dhami. As just stated in the tributes, there were so many amazing qualities that Constable Dhami had. But in talking with the family and friends this week, there is one that I want to specifically focus on. And that was Harvinder's desire to serve. And I know that he had that demonstrated to him as a child from his mother and his father. I was told that his childhood home, as you've already heard, was a home where his friends were always welcome, always felt very comfortable coming to, and that the doors were always open. But that was true even today, that Harvinder's and Ravinder's home was a gathering place for friends, for his watch, his co-workers, and that Harvinder loved to entertain and especially make others feel comfortable and accepted. There is a Sikh scripture that says, through selfless service, eternal peace is obtained. Service is a key element in Constable Dhami's family. And being a police officer, as we all know, is one of the highest callings in life to serve. It is a calling to serve and protect our citizens, our communities, and our nation. And we see that calling being answered in Harvinder's family, with his brother and cousin being officers in different police agencies in Canada, other family members involved in Canada Border Services or having served in the military, and then of course with Constable Dhami joining our National Police Force. Constable Dhami was proud to serve in the RCMP, and it showed in the way that he carried out his duties. He was a man of honor, as was already spoken, and he truly wanted to show that honor to others in his service. Whether that was marching at Remembrance Day to honor our vets, or recently marching to show honor to our fallen Edmonton Police Service officers that were killed in the line of duty, or simply running out to deliver Meals on Wheels for a shut-in, Harvinder's life was about service, but it was about honor. Ravinder shared with me that serving as a police officer was never about a paycheck for Constable Dhami, but it was really his life's calling. He wanted to discipline himself to be the best officer that he could be. He wanted to make Sherwood Park the safest place it could be for the community and all of its citizens. He was proud to serve with his watchmates, and he considered them all family. And that's why it was no surprise to have him respond to the call that night for backup. He, like everyone else on that watch, would respond as quickly as possible to help a friend and a fellow officer that was in need. I want to take this time personally to thank all of our RCMP officers and members, fellow police officers that are here, and all first responders that are here today, and also watching across the country. We want to thank you for your service. Thank you to your families for the sacrifices and the support that they give you daily so that you can successfully carry out your duties. I believe I can speak overwhelmingly this morning for the majority of Canadians to say thank you, and that we are proud of you as officers and the incredible jobs that you do every day to keep Canada safe. In closing, there is a biblical reference that says, "No greater love hath a man than this, than he would lay down his life for his friends." Constable Dhami, through his service, has paid the ultimate sacrifice. We are here today to celebrate his life and to thank him for his service, for the positive impact that he has had on his watchmates, his detachment, his community, and our RCMP force. Harvinder, we want you to know you and your service will never be forgotten. You will forever be remembered in our force's history for your service and for your sacrifice in the line of duty. Thank you, Harvinder.
J'aimerais maintenant inviter le commissaire Mike Duhem, commissaire de la GRC, à dire quelques mots. I would now like to invite Commissioner Mike Duhem, Commissioner of the RCMP, to say a few words.
Good afternoon, bon après-midi. Honored guests, RCMP colleagues, friends. With a heavy heart, I offer my deepest condolences to the family of Constable Harvinder Dhami, especially to his wife, Ravinder, his mother, Sindhu, his brother, Gurvinder, and his sister, Harpreet. Please know that the entire RCMP and law enforcement community across our great country share your grief. And we are here with you during this incredibly difficult time. The RCMP is one big family, and Constable Dhami, better known as Harvey, was one of our own. We knew him as a hard-working person, a true professional, and a devoted police officer who had so much ahead of him in his career and his personal life. Harvey was incredibly good. When his beloved Ravi was in university, Harvey would make the 9-hour drive to Chicago almost every weekend to see her. This dedication was also reflected in the countless hours he's given to helping out in his community. He was a passionate volunteer for Meals on Wheels. There are many ways one can serve the general public, and I'm sure it was no surprise when he chose a career as a police officer, like other members of his family. He clearly cared about everyone around him, and he had a gift for bringing people together. His home, have you heard it before, became a gathering place for the tight-knit Watch One crew. He was a man who had the ability and personality to connect with anyone, make them laugh, build those deep and lasting bonds. I'm sure members from Watch One have many fond memories of these gatherings. Harvey could turn strangers into friends and colleagues into family. These attributes that came so naturally to him are skills we work hard to build at Depot. Learning to work cohesively as a team. Whether we're in fitness, drill, or police science, we learn to assist, to work together, and to look out for each other. On April 10th, Harvey's colleagues needed help, and he answered the call just as he was trained to do. We are devastated by the great loss to the Strathcona County, to the entire policing community, to all of us, to his Watch One friends, colleagues, and especially to his family. Harvey's passion and commitment were evident in everything he did. He lived to better himself so that he could better serve others. If there were more hours in a day, I know without a doubt that he would have made good use of them. We can all live by the example he set and honor his memory through our actions. I'm told he was a great fan of former Navy SEALs David Goggins and would often quote from his audiobooks. So Mr. Goggins wrote, "A warrior is a guy that goes, I'm here again today, I'll be here again tomorrow, and the next day. It's a person who puts no limits to what is possible. And to me, that best describes who Harvey was. As we remember his life and acknowledge his sacrifice, I hope we can leave here today with a deeper commitment to take care of each other. To Harvey's family, I hope you find comfort in knowing that he gave his life in service to something bigger than himself. Looking at all of you here today, it's clear that Constable Dhami touched so many lives. Harvey, on behalf of all of us, thank you. Thank you for your service. You will be deeply missed and never forgotten. Merci.
Thank you, Commissioner Duhem. Merci. J'invite maintenant le sous-commissaire Curtis Zablocki, commandant de la GRC en Alberta, à prendre la parole. I would now like to invite Deputy Commissioner Curtis Zablocki, commanding officer of the Alberta RCMP, to offer remarks.
Good afternoon. It is with heavy hearts and sadness that we come together today to honor and to celebrate Harvey. To Harvinder's immediate family, Ravi, Shindu, Gurvinder, Harpreet, and to all of Harvey's extended family and friends, members and employees at Strathcona County Detachment, and all who knew Harvey, please accept my deepest condolences on behalf of all employees of the Alberta RCMP. On April 10th, 2023, Constable Harvinder Dhami, Regimental number 65876, made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty and in service to our country when he answered the call to back up a fellow officer. In losing Harvey, we've lost someone who embodied the very best of us, someone who selflessly dedicated his life to serving and protecting his community. While in training at Depot in Regina, when a cadet gets posted to a division or a province, one of the first things they do is write to that division, outlining their skills and abilities, listing the locations or the postings they might like to work, and setting out their career goals. When Harvey wrote to K Division, or Alberta, it was clear he would positively contribute to any community to which he was posted. He wrote of his excitement to start his career. He wrote that Ravi's success in her new career was just as important as his goals. And he wrote of how he wanted to continue to support and contribute to the Indo-Canadian community. In August of 2019, Harvey was posted to Strathcona County Detachment, one of his top choices. And the impact of Harvey as a police officer was immediately felt, both in the detachment and in the community. Harvey was a remarkable young police officer, known for his compassion, hard work, and dependability. And as Ravi mentioned, recently Harvey was selected to join the Emergency Medical Response Team, an impressive feat at 3.5 years of service, given the rigorous physical, medical, and tactical training required to prepare. A testament to Harvey's self-discipline, his determination, and his commitment. Harvey's magnetic personality drew people to him. Wherever he was, others wanted to be. Whether at work or in the off hours, members of his watch became good friends, and they could often be found at Ravi and Harvey's home. I want to share with you a few words from some of Harvey's co-workers. Dhami liked to joke about how jacked he was, but it was really his personality, his loyalty, humor, and compassion that were, as he would say, jacked. He was the heart of Watch One. Dhami was a hardworking, dedicated member who took the job seriously, but was always able to be in the center of all laughs. Dhami was selfless. He would take care of others before himself, offering help whenever needed. And lastly, when it came to the job, he was the first to offer help without a word being said, and he was already on the way when someone called for help. It's clear that Harvey, or the Dominator, as he was also known to his colleagues, was a special part of Watch 1 and the team at Strathcona Detachment. I know Harvey's loss is felt by each of you and that there are many more memories filled with laughter and happiness that will stay with you. We're very grateful for the support our police officers receive from the communities we serve. That support goes a long way, especially in difficult times like these. On April 10th, the community of Strathcona County lost one of their police officers. And I know you too are feeling the loss. Thank you for being there for our detachment. It means a great deal to all of us. When a police officer is lost in the line of duty, the loss is felt across the entire law enforcement community. The outpouring of support that we've received and your very presence here today is sincerely appreciated. Ravi, Shindu, Gurvinder, and Harpreet, the love, support, and dedication you all had for Harvey allowed him to give so much in service to others. We will be here for you. You are and will always be part of our RCMP family. Please know that Harvey has left a legacy of dedication and professionalism, humor, warmth, and kindness, commitment to his fellow officers, and, of course, service to his community. And that will never be forgotten.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner Zablocki. Merci beaucoup. We are now entering into a ceremony that is practiced by military and paramilitary organizations. The RCMP, as a regiment, respect these traditions. In a moment, you'll be asked to stand as the bugler, Constable Ray Loney, serving member of the Alberta RCMP, plays the last post. The last post is a traditional call that signals the end of day. The sentries have been posted. The camp is secure. Your duty is done. You may rest in peace. Nous amorcerons maintenant une cérémonie qui est pratiquée par les organisations militaires et paramilitaires. La GRC, en tant que régiment, observe ces traditions. Dans un instant, vous serez invité à vous lever alors que la clairon gendarme Ray Looney jouera la retraite au clairon. La retraite au clairon est la sonnerie militaire traditionnelle qui marque la fin de la journée. Les sentinelles sont à leur poste. Le camp est sûr. Votre devoir est fait. Reste posé en paix. Pipe Major Bob Scott of the Alberta RCMP Pipe and Drums will play the lament. The lament is to symbolically demonstrate the sorrow of separation from our loved ones. Le cornemuseur majeur Bob Scott, des cornemuseurs et tambours de la GRC de l'Alberta, jouera l'élégie. Cette hymne sert à exprimer symboliquement le chagrin du fait d'être séparé de son être cher. The final portion of the ceremony is Reveille, again played by the bugler. Reveille is the morning call that signifies a new day. A new day for us who are left behind to carry on as we must. Together, These pieces symbolize both Harvinder's last and final duty of giving his life in service, as well as his rising above his mortal duties forevermore. Pour clore la cérémonie, nous entendrons le réveil, que jouera le clairon encore une fois. Le réveil est la sonnerie du matin, qui annonce un nouveau jour. Un nouveau jour pour ceux et celles qui restent afin de poursuivre leur devoir. Ensemble, ces pièces symbolisent à la fois le dernier et ultime devoir d'Harvinder, qui a donné sa vie au service, et son élévation au-dessus de ses devoirs mortels, et ça, pour toujours. Veuillez vous lever. Les personnes en uniforme sont priées de ne pas mettre en garde à vous. Une fois de plus, veuillez ne pas porter le coifre. Please stand. Those in uniform are asked to stand at attention. Again, please keep your headrest removed. I will now ask Chaplain George Madden and Priest Harvinder Singh to come forward to offer the benediction and the ardas. Je demande maintenant à l'aumônier George Madden et au prêtre Harvinder Singh de s'avancer pour offrir la bénédiction et les ardas.
Please join me as we pray. To our Creator and God, may the strong arm of peace, love, and support that we see today from hundreds of law enforcement and first responders who stand shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart, be a visible witness of the strength of purpose and commitment to their calling to serve and protect. And may the God of all comfort bring hope where there is despair, sunshine where there is darkness, and give us all courage to press on. For in doing so, we bring honor to the life of Constable Harvinder Dhami, forever loved, forever remembered, never forgotten.
The ardas, a prayer of humility, compassion, and fearlessness, a reminder of the dedication needed to become a better human being. During the ardas, please don your headdress. L'ardas, une prière d'humilité, de compassion et d'intégrité, un rappel du dévouement nécessaire pour devenir un meilleur être humain. Pendant l'ardas, veuillez revêtir votre coiffe.
श्री वाहिगुरु जी। अव्वल अल्लाह नूर उपाया कुदरत के सब बंदे, एक नूर ते सब जग उपजया कौन भले को मंदे। पावन पवित्र गुरबाणी दे इस उपदेश नूं मन दे विच वसाउंदे होए बहुत ही सत्कारयोग हरविंदर सिंह धामी ने RCMP ਨੂੰ ज्वाइन करके देश कौम ਅਤੇ सारी मनुखता ਦੀ ਭਲਾਈ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਆਪਣਾ ਜੀਵਨ ਲਾਉਂਦਿਆਂ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਦਿਨੀ ਜੋ ਸਤਿਗੁਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਬਰਾਜੇ ਹਨ, ਇਸ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ 'ਤੇ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਜਾਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਸਮੂਹ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀਓ, ਆਪਾਂ ਉਸ ਵੀਰ ਯੋਧੇ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਪਰਮ ਪਿਤਾ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਵਰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਸਭ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ ਹੋਈਏ ਜੀ। सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु जी। तो ठाकुर तुम पै अरदास, जियो पिंड सब तेरी रास। तुम मात पिता हम बारक तेरे, तुमरी कृपा मैं सुख कनेरे। कोई न जाने तुमरा अंत, उचेते ऊचा भगवंत। सगल समगरी तुमरै सूत्र धारी, तुम ते होए सो आज्ञाकारी। तुमरी गत मित तुम ही जानी, नानक दास सदा कुर्बानी। तुमरी गत मित तुम ही जानी, नानक दास सदा कुर्बानी। श्री वाहिगुरु जी मेहरबान, साहिब मेरा मेहरबान। एक ओंकार श्री वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। श्री भगौती जी सहाय। वार श्री भगौती जी की पातशाही 10वीं। प्रथम भगौती सिमरकै गुरु नानक लई ध्याए, फिर अंगद गुर ते अमरदास रामदासै होई सहाय। अर्जन हर गोविंद नो सिमरो श्री हर राय, श्री हर कृष्ण ध्याईऐ जिस डिठे सब दुख जाए। तेग बहादुर सिमरै घर नौ निद आवै धाए, सब थाई होए जी सहाय। 10वें पातशाह श्री गुरु गोबिंद सिंह कलगीधर सच्चे पातशाह जी, सब थाई होए जी सहाय। सत श्री अकाल पुरख जी का ध्यान धर के साध संग साहिब बोलना जी। श्री वाहिगुरु जी। ਦਸਾਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਰੂਪ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਜਾਗਦੀ ਜੋਤ ਹਾਜ਼ਰਾ ਹਜੂਰ ਜ਼ਾਹਿਰਾ ਜਹੂਰ ਕਲ ਜੁਗ ਕੇ ਬੋਹਿਤ ਨਾਮ ਕੇ ਜਹਾਜ ਹਲਤ ਪਲਤ ਕੇ ਰਖਿਅਕ ਲੋਕ ਪ੍ਰਲੋਕ ਕੇ ਸਹਾਇਕ ਹਜੂਰ ਦੇ ਪਾਵਨ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਪਾਠ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਜੀ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ। 10 ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀਆਂ 4 ਸਾਹਿਬਜ਼ਾਦੇ 5 ਪਿਆਰੇ 40 ਮੁਕਤੇ ਸਮੂਹ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਸਮੂਹ ਭਗਤਾਂ ਸਮੂਹ ਹਠੀਆਂ ਜਪੀਆਂ ਤਪੀਆਂ ਸਤੀਆਂ ਸਮੂਹ ਸਿੱਧਕਵਾਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਜੀ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ। ਸਮੂਹ ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਜੀ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ। ਸਮੂਹ ਗੁਰਤਖਤਾਂ ਸਮੂਹ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਝੰਡਿਆਂ ਬੁੰਗਿਆਂ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨਾਂ ਗੁਰਧਾਮਾਂ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਧਰ ਕੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਜੀ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ। ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਹੈ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਅੰਤਰਜਾਮੀ ਧੰਨ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਸਰੂਪ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਗਰੀਬ ਨਿਵਾਜ ਮਿਹਰਬਾਨ ਬਾਬਾ ਜੀ। ਇਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਆਪ ਜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਹਜ਼ੂਰ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਸੰਗਤ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਪ ਜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਪਾਵਨ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਕਮਲਾਂ ਵਿਖੇ ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਸਹਿਤ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ। ਜੇਹਾ ਚਿਰੇ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਤੇਹਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਕਮਾਏ ਕੱਲੇ ਆਵੈ ਨਾਨਕਾ ਸੱਦੇ ਉੱਠੀ ਜਾਏ ਦੇ ਮਹਾਵਾਕ ਅਨੁਸਾਰ ਆਪ ਜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਰ ਕਰ ਦੇ ਸੇਵਾਦਾਰ ਭਾਈ ਹਰਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਧਾਮੀ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਬਖਸ਼ੀ ਹੋਈ ਸਵਾਸਾਂ ਰੂਪੀ ਪੂੰਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਸ਼ ਕੌਮ ਅਤੇ ਸਮੁੱਚੀ ਹੀ ਮਨੁੱਖਤਾ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਾਉਂਦਿਆਂ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਦਿਨੀ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਬਰਾਨੇ ਹਨ। ਗੁਰੂ ਗਰੀਬ ਨਵਾਜ ਆਪ ਜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਗੁਣ ਔਗਣ ਨਾ ਚਿਤਾਰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਿਵਾਸ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਆਵਾਗਮਨ ਦੇ ਚੱਕਰ ਤੋਂ ਬਚਾਉਣਾ ਗਰੀਬ ਨਵਾਜ ਆਪ ਜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਨੀ। ਪਿੱਛੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਸਮੂਹ ਸਾਕ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮੂਹ ਹੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਭਾਣਾ ਮਿੱਠਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੰਨਣ ਦਾ ਬਲ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਮਿਹਰ ਕਰਨੀ ਜੀ ਕਲਾ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਵਰਤੇ ਆਪ ਜੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਭਜਨ ਬਾਣੀ ਕਾ ਪ੍ਰਤਾਪ ਸਭੇ ਹੀ ਦੁੱਖਾਂ ਕਲੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਕਾ ਨਾਸ਼ ਧੰਨ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਭਾਣੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਦਾ ਭਲਾ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।
Thank you, chaplain, priest. You may be seated and remove your headdress. At this time, we will proceed with the presentation of the flag and the Stetson. Nous allons maintenant procéder à la présentation du drapeau et du Stetson. Please stand for the marching off of the guidon. Veuillez vous lever pour le défilé du guidon. Please remain standing for the departure of the bear party and Constable Dhami's family. S'il vous plaît, restez debout pour le départ du groupe de porteurs et la famille du gendarme Dhami. Ceci met fin au service officiel. Nous vous demandons de rester debout à vos places pendant que le troupe d'honneur et la famille élargie sortent. Une fois qu'ils seront sortis, veuillez remettre votre coiffe en place. Un sergent-major de votre section vous donnera d'autres instructions. Une fois le salut final terminé, vous êtes invités à retourner dans la salle pour la réception des forces de l'ordre. This ends the official service. We ask that you continue to stand at your seats as the honor troop and the extended family exit. Once they have exited, please replace headdress. A sergeant major at your seating section will provide you further instructions. Once the final salute is complete, you are invited back into the venue for the law enforcement reception.
Well, you've been watching the funeral, the ceremony for Constable Harvinder Dhami this afternoon. It is just wrapping up now as we speak. Some very emotional, very heartfelt images that we've been watching here, and especially, I know what really hit home for me was the family tributes, speaking to the lost family member, and it's been quite an afternoon. And Ian, I just wanted to ask you, just some of we've seen so much powerful scenes here this afternoon. What's the significance of just take us back to the casket dressing where they presented it to the family?
Well, simply the headdress and the Sam Brown belt, the wide broad belt, are placed on the casket as an indication of Constable Dhami's love for the uniform. And then subsequently the Stetson was presented to his mother, so there can never be a disconnect between Harvinder and the force, and the flag as well.
Yeah, it's hard to watch, and to get those mementos for the family, it must mean so much. It's so emotional, and it's such a close part of what Constable Dhami was really all about and the service that he gave.
Alors, on arrive à la fin du funérailles de gendarme Harvinder Dhami. Et on voulait mentionner la significance du centuron et baudrier qui était présent sur le cercueil.
We can see the casket being loaded into the coach for the constable's final ride here. And we should mention that this is an overflow crowd that has showed up here at Millennium Place in Sherwood Park that we've been watching here this afternoon and broadcasting live from Strathcona County. Over 2,100 people have been here to say their goodbyes and pay their final respects. And we've been hearing from family and co-workers, law enforcement from across Canada. The overflow room here has been brought into service as well. There's just such a tremendous outpouring of support here. Ian, I know emotions have got you here, but I just wanted to ask you, what are we about to see? It's called a rolling salute?
Yes, once the casket's loaded in the coach, and the casket and Constable Dhami depart, the forces are lined up along the route.
Mm-hmm.
And as the coach goes by, the forces, they will salute individually, unless, of course, their force has formed up in a block and their own sergeant major gives them the order to salute as a group. So it's not. It might look like a bit of a ragtag activity,
Right.
but it's actually not.
Mhm.
It's just the individual members that have attended it are showing their respect.
And what I find so touching as well, that like, I know this is steeped in tradition here, and the events around the funeral, like the music, the request to wear the headdress that we saw. Many of these go along with the protocol with the RCMP standard funeral, but the families had such a big say in all this as well, and in the choice of music. I know that's that was a big part.
Absolutely.
That's going to mean a lot.
It sure does. And frankly, we're grateful for the opportunity.
Vous pouvez voir, ils viennent de mettre le cercueil dans la voiture pour sa dernière passée avant les forces qui vont être au bord du chemin pour donner leur dernier salut, pour lui dire au revoir.
And these are the final scenes here from a ceremony here that was just packed with just wonderful tributes and very emotional, heartfelt remembrances of a family member, of a co-worker, a son, a brother. I know on the back of one of the cards here I picked up in the overflow room here, it says Harvinder was a valued member of the Strathcona County RCMP detachment. He was a beloved, exceptional colleague, a caring, loving husband, son, brother, and friend who had a brilliant and uplifting smile for everyone he encountered. And his commitment to his community and all those he loved remind us of why we serve and why he will never be forgotten.
On the left there, you can see the honor troop is formed up.
Mm-hmm. And this is where they're preparing for the rolling salute?
No, the honor troop quite likely will salute as a unit.
As he goes, wow.
And because they are shoulder to shoulder, it's not physically possible for each of them to salute. So quite likely the sergeant major in charge of that group will salute on behalf of all those individuals.
Hmm.
Parlait de comment c'était touchant d'entendre les beaux mots de la famille et des membres qui ont été parlés, qui connaissaient le gendarme. Il était très aimé à sa position ici à Sherwood Park. Puis je voulais toucher sur la significance de ceinturon et de baudrier qui représente l'amour pour l'uniforme du membre Harvey et le Stetson qui a été donné à sa mère pour lui rappeler de son fils qui est perdu pendant qu'il travaillait pour la Gendarmerie royale du Canada et le drapeau qui a été plié pour donner à sa femme.
Ian, this is an amazing scene here with all the surge here. What's happening here?
I think they're just trying to make room
Just
for
trying
each
to get
other.
everybody,
Yeah.
fit them in. There's so many people here.
Yeah, there is.
And some touching images just a minute ago there. We saw the wife, mother, sister, and brother and their tributes. I think that's going to hit home with a lot of his colleagues too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they're all lining up along the route on the way out to say their final farewell here, so.
As the proceedings wind down here, Gordon, I'd just like to thank you for your contributions.
Well, it's been an honor to be here with you gentlemen today.
Thank you et merci. C'était un honneur d'être ici avec vous pour vos commentaires. So, thank you.
And that was Sergeant Major Collins calling the entire assembly to the position of attention.
Maximum flight.
All bears and hot bears, attention! All bears and hot bears, yes, yes!
Well, there you have Constable Harvinder Dhami. He's making his final journey here past all of the law enforcement, first responders who've come out to pay tribute and honor this man who paid the ultimate sacrifice, was killed in the line of duty. And he'll be making his final journey back to his resting place in Ontario. Constable Harvinder Dhami. So that brings to a close our coverage here of his funeral, and I would just like to say, on behalf of Ian, Jack, and I, thanks for watching.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merci.